First off, congratulations, but also thank you for telling this story, because it's a story that, growing up in the classroom, we don't see enough Black stories told. As a filmmaker, what inspired you to tell this story?
Well, first of all, when Nicole Avon called and said, listen, watch this sizzle reel, I called her up and go, you gotta be kidding me, like, this is real? There were 855 Black women in the military in World War II, and nobody's talked about them. So I wanted to get involved from that point of view, but also when I flew to Vegas and met Lena King, who was 99 years old at the time, who was a surviving member of the 6888, I knew I had to go all in, so yeah.
The Postal Battalion?
They think the only thing we good for is to deliver some damn mail.
Would you like to see all the hangars, ma'am?
How many are there?
All of them.
Oh my God.
But unfortunately, so many people, including myself, have never heard the 6888. Did you know about this story before you took on this role?
No. In fact, the weirdest thing happened. It was, I think, maybe a Thursday or Friday, and Tyler Perry said, I want you to watch this sizzle reel. It's something that I think we could work on. And I thought, okay, that's great. I'll watch it on Monday. I have a really busy weekend. So I sort of set it aside. That weekend, we were filming something for my social media called Black Herstory, and I dressed up as Lena King. My social media director found an article about the 6888, Emily Kitching. She brought it to me. I read it. I thought, this is amazing. Yes, let's dress up like Lena. She's one of the surviving members. We did this cute photo shoot, and then a couple days later, I opened up the sizzle reel, and it's a whole film about the 6888. And I had chills, because even just doing that little bit on social media, I was like, this is so cool to dress up in this costume and kind of step into this point in history. I didn't know that people that looked like me had played a role in World War II in that capacity. So when I watched the sizzle, I talked to Tyler immediately. He told me he wanted me to play their captain, Charity Adams, and I was like, let's go. There were so many scenes that felt overwhelmingly emotional. I think because we really wanted to make sure that we were honoring these real women and their legacy. And so the pressure felt high. The stakes feel very real for people to not just know this story, but to know the gravity of what these women sacrificed and what they accomplished felt huge. We all really loved shooting the big dance party scenes. I think it was important to remember that these women were also human, and that they laughed and they danced and they sang and they drank liquor, and that they were real people, right? And so those couple of days were very rewarding for me, because I felt like we got to really kind of breathe life into their joyful humanity.
This was a true story. These characters were real women, and so we had a much more, I guess, rich arsenal's an interesting word to use for a World War II film, to pull from. I mean, Lena was a real person. I say was because she did pass this year, but she was 100 years old, and she lived, and she was a nurse after the war. She was a dress designer after. She lived a very full life, so this, I get emotional talking about it, so I'm gonna try not to during this, but yeah, it was special, it was different. It was my first time playing a person who I could speak to, like this.
Yeah. And what was it like meeting her and getting to have those experiences and talk about her experience?
You know, she had such a calmness and eloquence about her that was disarming. I think for someone who has been through as much as she's been through, she outlived both husbands, she outlived her children, she of course outlived so much of the battalion, and she lived to see, though, the film. She did see the film. It just premiered. I know we had a premiere yesterday and the film's coming out on the 20th, but she did see the film, so she knows that this story is going to be out in the world, and I think she was so joyous about that. I'm happy. I think that we've made her proud. I think that we've made the battalion proud, so that's all that I can wish for. As
an actress, was there a sense of pressure knowing that you're
Yes.
playing someone that is gonna watch this?
Yes. No, it was. I know I didn't let you finish that question, but I was like, yes! No, absolutely. I was very nervous. I have a lot of respect for women. I was raised by women, and I have a lot of respect for Black women because I know what that is as a Black woman, to live and walk this earth. And so for me, I was very eager to meet her and get a sense of who she is outside of a script. Who is she outside of this dialogue? Who was she at 17? Who is she now? And funny enough, I do think she had a lot of the same characteristics that she must have had at 17 years old, because she was sweet, she was pure, and she was just grateful. And that's something we can all learn to be.
It took me 2 weeks to write it, and the reason it took such a short amount of time is because I had incredible historians, and sitting down talking to Lena for those several hours, the stories she told me, and doing all the research and getting all the research about Charity Adams and all these things that happened, all of that was in me. So when I sat down to write, it just flooded. For me, it was really powerful, and I filmed her watching it. She was on hospice at the time at home, and she just cried, and she saluted, and she was just like, thank you for letting the world know that Black women contributed.
Unlike some other folks here, we have the most to prove. Now is where you show the proof. This is our mission. And we will not fail.